how many of you have friends or know people like that that'll say, just do it, just do whatever. You guys don't have that peer pressure? Yes? Not talking to any of you, like, do you know what I'm, and how many of you even people have said, when you're going to that youth group at church on Sunday when you could be doing whatever? How many of you made your parents come here today? Nobody? Oh, I was a good one. I almost didn't get confirmed when I was a sophomore. Because I was like, really at that point, I was just like, no, I don't, it's like, not everybody else is cool about this, why should I be? I was very conditioned to follow what other people directed my life to go, instead of following God. And I can tell you this, I can preach this to you till I'm blue in the face, but until you come to that realization, I know I sound like I'm like, blah, 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 blah. But if there's, like I said, if there's one thing that you take away from today, is that honestly, follow Him. It makes life so much easier, even when things are so unbelievably crappy. And I could tell you about the things that have happened to me. I could tell you about, the 2 failed marriages that I've had, the relationship that I was in where I was abused and beat up and everything. I could tell you about, losing a home. I could tell you about, all these horrible things that have happened to me. But you know what? Those things have unbelievably made my relationship stronger with God. Because going through those things. Because I've come to the realization that we can try to go around things, we can try to go over it, we can try to go under it, but only God will take us through it. And I would love to tell you, sit here and tell you, you know what, your life is going to be perfect, and it's going to be great, and everything's going to be just as it should be. But I can't. But I can tell you that if you have that relationship with God, particularly with Jesus, as you start going forward with your life with Him now, it is going to be more amazing than you can imagine. Anyone believe me? Thinking about it? Putting you to sleep yet? Okay, good. Okay, Hebrews. I'm going to go a lot to the Bible, and please tell me if I because I get started talking about this, and you guys, honestly, I'm not here to hear my own voice. I mean, I can sit and talk to myself all day long if I want to. Please, try to take something home with you. Now, you don't have to like everything that I tell you, but I'm not going to lie to you. Bible saved my life. Particularly, not just the Bible, but what's in the Bible. And I could read the Bible and read it over until I started to take action. That's what changed it. And if you go to Hebrews 10:23, and why isn't this? There we go. Without wavering, let us hold tightly to the hope we say we have, for God can be trusted. I love these words, to keep His promises. Hebrews 10:23, without wavering, let us hold tightly to the hope we say we have, for God can be trusted to keep His promise. God's promise is that He's going to give you a life that is happy, joyous, and free. You can bank on that. You put your trust in Him. You believe in Him. You go where He tells you to go. You are going to have a life that is fulfilling. And you are going to be fulfilled. You don't have to take my word for it. I've learned the best by my own experiences. You can do your thing, or what other people suggest that they do, that you do. Follow them, get the same thing, or put your trust and your hope in God and see where He'll take you. Emily Dickinson, if you know who she is or not, I'm not trying to give you a literature lesson, but hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. I believe that was hope. Without hope, we have nothing. I don't know if you guys how versed you are in Greek mythology, but the story of Pandora. Do you guys know that story or no? No? There was a box given to Pandora, hence the term Pandora's box. And all the ills of the world were in it. And she was told not to open it. No matter what she did, don't open it. Kind of like not eating the apple. Well, Pandora, her curiosity got the best of her. And she opened the box, and all the evil came out. All the that bestowed upon mankind. And finally she shut it. And the only thing that was left in the box was what would destroy hope. Now, I don't know you guys that well, and I'm not going to pretend that I know you that well, but I'm pretty sure at this stage in your life you have some dreams. Probably your dreams, I don't know exactly what your dreams are, but I'm probably thinking they don't include going to prison. They probably don't include living life on the street. They probably don't include selling yourself to be able to eat and have clothing and live a life. You know, those probably aren't dreams that you have. You probably don't sit back and say, yeah, when I live under the bridge someday in a box and be homeless and not have anything else, I think that'll be great. Probably some dreams that you have for yourself is that maybe some of you want to get married. Maybe some of you want to be parents. Maybe some of you want to go on to get a college education. Maybe some of you really aspire to go overseas and work in the Peace Corps. Maybe some of you had, maybe it is. Why, is that some dream?
My sister's going to Nicaragua in a couple weeks for
That
Peace
is
Corps.
so fabulous. You mean she didn't have a dream to live under the bridge and live in a box? Oh, okay. I believe that these dreams are planted in our heart by God. I really do. And God tells us, delight in me, and I will give you the desires of your heart. Delight in me. If you are earnest about following him and saying, you know what, God, this is the prayer that I pray each morning. After I say, Jesus, please be with me today, I say, please take me where you will, meet who you want me to meet, say what you want me to say, and get me out of the way so I don't screw it up. Because left to me, my life would be filled with selfish, self-centeredness. Remember that person that I was? The person I am today? You might wonder, why is she getting up a Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening to come talk to us? I'm not getting paid for doing this. I don't get paid monetary value, I should say. But I get paid for my obedience, if that makes any sense. Because I really believe that God blesses obedience. Anytime that we, quote, do the right thing, not say to somebody what really is on our mind, because it'll cause harm or hurt. Instead, turn the other cheek. These things that we're blessed for our obedience. You know, my life, I've told you a little bit what it was like. You can about imagine the HE double hockey sticks I was living in. To be physically alive and spiritually dead. I knew there was a God, but I didn't believe that God would help me. I didn't believe that I warranted help. I didn't believe that I was forgiven for the things that I had done. When I finally got to that point of realizing that I was forgiven. If I would have been the only person in the world, Jesus would have gladly gone to the cross just for me. I don't know about you guys, but I've never, ever felt anything as powerful as that. Let's continue, shall we? Isaiah 40:29-31. He gives power to the weak and strength to the powerless. Even youths will become weak and tired, and young men will fall in exhaustion. But those who trust in the Lord will find new strength. They will soar high on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. How many of you trust me right now? Well, you've known me for how long? Do you trust me, Andrea? Do you trust me? 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 Why? You've known me for maybe an hour now? Why do you trust me?
I don't have a hard time trusting people.
You what?
I don't have a hard time trusting people unless they screw it up.
So I haven't screwed up yet.
No.
Okay, how about you? Same thing, how about you?
Yeah, my respect. So.
Ooh. I'm impressed. Thank you. Do you have any idea how much that means to me? I'll tell you why in a second. How about you? Do you trust me? Same as her?
Yeah.
I know you do, right? How about you?
Because you're telling us like your story, and I know how hard it is to tell people like your journey.
I'm going to tell you something really amazingly awesome that I wish I would have figured this out when I was younger. Do you know why you trust me? Because you trust God. somebody is telling you the truth, which I am, obviously, not just because I'm here at church, but just because I love you guys that much. And I don't mean to be weird, like we always think romantic love, but I love you enough to tell you the truth, meaning that I care about you that much. Is because you recognize something in your spirit, which I believe is the Holy Spirit, is like, I get it. Because I'm a firm believer that we can speak and live in the truth, and other people will recognize that, or we can choose to live in lies. And of course, who's going to recognize that? People who are living in lies. See, when I was living that kind of life, you can about imagine the people that I attracted into my life. People who were as sick as I was. If we keep pressing forward and living in the truth, even when it's difficult. See, Jesus didn't say it would be easy, but he does tell us it's worth it. So you guys gave me a great compliment by saying you have my respect, that you trust me. And that's just an affirmation that you trust in God. Because you wouldn't recognize that in me if you didn't recognize it in yourselves. Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. What's your purpose?
To live life to the fullest.
Ooh, did you have them do this ahead of time? Yeah, we practice. Okay. How about you, Nick? What's your purpose? You don't know your purpose in life?
Not right off the top.
Sweet. I get to give you something that you're going to remember. Hold on a second, though. What's your purpose?
I have no idea.
Okay. How about you? How about you?
Day by day, I guess.
The what?
Day by day. That's it.
Let me tell you, this is so awesome. This is so good. You might want to lean forward, Nick. You're going to fall asleep under here.
No.
This is what your purpose is. You ready? Get in here. This is your purpose. Andrea, Jeannie, finally got your name. Chris, Nick, Sandy already knows. Natalie, your purpose in life is to be a maximum service to God. That is why you were created. To be a maximum service to God by being of service to his people. See, it took me until I was 30 years old for somebody to tell me what my purpose was in life. I had no idea. I thought my purpose was to, when I was younger, to fit in and be popular and be great and great and be the basketball star and be the cute cheerleader and to be the whatever it may be. That's what I thought my purpose was. As I got older, I thought my purpose was to get a degree and teach kids, which, don't get me wrong, I love teaching. But I thought that was my purpose, to teach them English and Fayette. And when it was told to me that these are things that I do because I am a child of God. Because he's my dad. He is what?
King.
King! Good job. He's a king. So I'm his daughter, you're his daughter, you're his daughter, you're his son, you're his son, you're his daughter, you're his daughter. What does that make you guys?
Princess.
Princess and
Prince.
exactly. Do you guys? And this is something that we forget because we live in this world, and there's all these other things we're told to be this and this and this and this. We forget. Like when somebody asks you, they'll be like, "Well, when you get older, not maybe so much now, but they'll ask you now, well, what grade are you in? Well, I'm a sophomore, or I'm a freshman, or I'm a junior, or I'm a senior." They don't say, like for me, they're like, "Well, what do you do for a living?" I said, "Well," or "What do you do for work?" I said, "Well, I'm a teacher." Ultimately, our main purpose is to be princesses and princes of the king. So our dad's king. That makes us royalty. We do have crowns. We just can't see them because we're in this world. I really And so once we realize who we are, then we can realize what we're called to do. We're called to be of service to God's people. That means if I don't like you, it doesn't matter. No, I do like you, but it's not about me. If you do something that bothers me, it's again not about me. How can I be, not to say that I'm supposed to lie down and let everybody walk all over me, but by what we do and what we say, that's how we show others who our Father is. You know, some people think that they have to walk around with the Bible in hand. If you want to walk with a Bible in hand in a public school, you go right ahead. You can do that if you want to. Now, more kudos to you if you can do that. Oh, excuse me. But if you want to go, to church every day, that's awesome. Those are things that are going to help you to be stronger for God's kingdom. But ultimately, you have to live in the world. You have to live in the world as a prince and princess. That means that there are going to be things that happen that you don't like. You can either react to them, or you can take action. Does anyone know the greatest action you can take? And that doesn't mean punching somebody in the face. That's called reacting. When somebody offends you and somebody really ticks you off and somebody's hurt you, what are the two things that you can do for that person? Good. You're right on the right track. One is forgiveness. I've had some really bad things happen to me, which I've kind of alluded to. I've forgiven these people because I was willing to pray for them. Prayer is such a powerful tool, and we don't even realize how powerful it is. When somebody had told me that, they suggested my first ex-husband, he was a meth addict, and I really had a really good track record for relationships. It was wonderful. But anyway, I really despised him, borderline hated him. I wouldn't allow myself to say that I hated him because I didn't want to go to hell, because I believe that if you hate anyone that much, you're in cahoots with the devil. And that's what I had believed at the time, but whatever. Anyway, somebody suggested I pray for him. I'm like, no, I'm not going to pray for him. He beat me up, he lied to me, he stole from me, he did all these things. I'm not praying for him. I started praying for him. My prayer wasn't very nice, and I really can't say it in church because it was filled with some language that might be offensive not only to you, but probably to God. But I would pray for him, and I would say, please bless that beep, 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 beep. That was my prayer for him. Later, I started praying for him to bless that God would bless him with things that I desired in my life. Please, God, bless him with a relationship so that he can change and that he can be of service to your kingdom. Please, God, help him change his heart, because only God can change a heart. And then I would go, please, God, bless him with children, bless him with the home, bless him with these things. If there's somebody who has wronged you in